Yesterday wasn't good enough, obviously. We came out flat, the first couple plays with 7 on. It was like slow motion, like a jog through, walk through pace, so I was shocked by that. But we addressed it last night, and we came out this morning with better energy, and it showed in our play.
I think Sean said 120 plays or so over the last couple days. How
Yeah.
much does that give you to evaluate to try to figure out, who makes the roster moves?
Plenty, obviously having the Rams here is perfect for our evaluation process to see different schemes and to kind of, even trying our schemes out, in different offenses is key for us. But it's been a good 2 days. Yesterday, obviously, again, wasn't good enough, but today was better.
What do you do as a coach to change that energy? Like
Change what?
from the energy from yesterday?
Hopefully address it and get it changed, And, my point to the guys yesterday was we can't start games that way. Last week against San Fran, the first 4 or 5 plays, we were out of sorts. Even in Arizona, the first drive wasn't great. It was okay, so just building the mindset of being dominant from the start and not waiting to be dominant, If, most good defenses and most good offense, their first 15 plays are their best plays. So if you can nail those, man, it sets for a good day. So we can't be a team that eases into games and give up field goals in the first drive, and that's not who we want to be. So that can't happen.
What have you learned about Hussein Bassi, not just at slot, but also getting into safety?
Well, he's a defensive back. He can play nickel and he can play safety. He's played some corner in his time. He's a guy that's very, very smart. He's been in the system for a while with CP. He understands the adjustments, and we trust him. And sometimes you have players that are not what you want as prototypes physically, but you trust them, and those guys you can win with. And that's half the battle when you play a team sport. You want guys you can trust, and he's one of those guys we can trust.
Where are you at with Jake Palmer going? We didn't see Amari out there.
Mhm. Yeah.
Where are you with Jake Palmer, the reps he's getting?
Yeah. He's battling. He's playing corner and also playing nickel. He's had a great camp. He had a great spring. So he's getting better and better every single day. He's a second-year player, so he's young, but he can cover. He's tough. He's smart, and he's going to help us win, in my opinion.
Is your side of the roster, as far as picking it, the challenge being that you have some key guys
Mhm.
coming back from
Yeah.
injury?
Yeah.
That
That's a George problem, Mike, not mine. We're going to coach who he gives us, but obviously we have some guys who are injured, and it's some 3 or 4 week deals. So we'll see how George and coach handles it, but we have enough depth, in the first month to get by, in my opinion. So I have no worries.
Lots of people.
I'm sorry. That's huge for us, That D line has been really our most consistent, deepest group, and been the healthiest, through camp. So just adding Mike just adds more depth, but to find 3 or 4 young guys that were free agents last year and who's playing good ball for us, that's key. And that builds depth. And moving forward with your D line room, you want young and you want healthy guys who can play lots of downs for you. So that's where we are in that room.
Vance,
Just a few more
everybody
questions.
talks about kind of the culture that Sean makes.
Sure. Mm-hmm.
How would you define the culture? What are some of the pillars and
Yeah.
things, a definition of the culture?
I think the culture that coaches bring, to this organization is accountability. He wants guys to be accountable, and to be good pros. Being on time and practicing well and being responsible for your job. Just simple things that that normal jobs ask you to do. And he's a coach that every night he's giving a message, and that's important. You can change the culture by hoping, but he doesn't hope. It's addressed every night, and it's through who he signed in free agency, and it's how he handles the team, through adversity. So it's been fun to watch, and it's been nice to watch the players kind of dive into it and kind of take to the culture. Because it's not easy changing the culture. You have things that was allowed last year that's not being allowed this year. So for players to kind of learn by making mistakes and learn from his conversations has been good for this team.
Vance, you talked about young guys making an impact. Elijah Garcia has made the most of his own.
Yes, he has. Yes, he has. Well, again, he was a young guy that's only been in the league 2 years, but he's a prototype. He's 6'4.5". He's 290 pounds. He can rush the passer. He's stout in the run game. So it's been, again, Marcus Dixon has done a great job with these young guys, who were supposed to be just, so-called camp bodies, who's turned to being good players. But it's good to have good players, and it's good to find young, cheap labor like those guys. So that's a plus for our D-line. It's a deep room, and obviously what Mike said earlier about the roster, it's going to be hard to keep everyone, and that's the way it should be, when your team's growing.
Last question, Artie.
From
all unit, what are the differences as you evaluate off of joint practice versus preseason?
I think you get more opportunities in the joint practice, right? I mean, you get more reps. You know, obviously in the games, you play your starters, 25 reps. They can get 25 reps in 2 periods. In this setting. So, I like it. It's good for both teams to kind of again evaluate your players, but also evaluate your scheme. I mean, Sean McVay is a guy who's got a great offensive scheme like Kyle Shanahan. So it's good to go against those guys, kind of find your soft spots in your defense. And discuss them with some coaches, who would talk to you about, what they see, and how you can defend those guys better. So it's good on both sides of it for the players and the coaches.
All right, thank you so much.
Thank you, guys.